4 navies, 1 sea, 0 margin for error. This is Naval Frontline. The Eastern Mediterranean becomes pressure cooker of naval power. Russian missile cruiser escorts military convoy through contested waters. Israeli submarines shadow from below. Turkish fleet maneuvers between opposing forces. American destroyer observes from international waters. Every captain knows collision course approaches. At 03:18 a.m. local time, the Russian Black Sea Fleet departs Tartus. Syria's naval base serves as staging point. The guided missile cruiser Moskva leads formation. This warship displaces 12,000 tons. It carries 16 P-1000 Vulcan cruise missiles. Each missile flies at Mach 2.5. Range extends 300 miles. The Moskva represents Soviet-era power projection, accompanied by 2 frigates and supply vessel. The convoy heads northwest, destination classified, but the trajectory indicates passage through Israeli economic zone. The route brings Russian ships within 60 miles of Haifa. Israel's Navy prepares response. Intelligence services detected convoy preparations days earlier. Satellite imagery showed increased activity at Tartus. Ships loading supplies. Crews conducting pre-deployment checks. The patterns indicated major movement. Israeli submarine command received orders 48 hours ago. 2 Dolphin-class submarines departed Haifa. These boats carry diesel-electric propulsion. They operate in absolute silence. Advanced air-independent propulsion extends submerged endurance. Each submarine displaces 2,000 tons. Crew complement 35 personnel. They carry torpedoes and cruise missiles. Exact armament remains classified, but capability includes strategic strike. The submarines transit to intercept positions. They arrive 12 hours before Russian convoy. Silent running protocols engage. The Mediterranean floor provides acoustic cover. Thermal layers mask signatures. These submarines become invisible. Naval Frontline confirms both boats reached station. 1 submarine positions 30 miles west of convoy route. 2nd submarine takes station 40 miles north. The geometry creates tracking box. Russian ships must pass between. Once inside, Israeli submarines maintain continuous sonar contact. Every propeller revolution monitored, every course change recorded. The acoustic signature database updates. This intelligence proves valuable for future encounters. Turkish Navy headquarters in Ankara monitors developments. The Russian convoy passes through Turkish-claimed waters. Ankara asserts maritime jurisdiction, but international law remains disputed. Turkey deploys surface action group. 3 frigates steam from Aksa''s naval base. The TCG Barbaros leads formation. This ship carries Harpoon anti-ship missiles, American-made weapons on Turkish hull. The irony noted by analysts. 2 corvettes provide escort. Turkish ships reach intercept point by dawn. They establish presence between Russian convoy and Israeli coast. The positioning appears deliberate. Turkey signals neutrality while demonstrating control, but the naval geometry becomes complex. Russian convoy heading northwest, Israeli submarines trailing, Turkish ships crossing between. The Mediterranean narrows to 200 miles. All forces operate in confined space. American 6th Fleet maintains watch. From distance, the USS Arleigh Burke destroyer patrols 100 miles west. This ship represents American presence. The Burke carries Aegis combat system. Radar coverage extends 200 miles. Every ship in Eastern Mediterranean appears on screen. Combat Information Center tracks all contacts. Data feeds to 6th Fleet headquarters. Pentagon receives real-time updates. The Situation Room in Washington monitors closely. At 07:42 a.m., the Turkish frigates close on Russian convoy. Distance reduces to 8 miles. Bridge-to-bridge communications begin. Professional courtesy exchanged, but underlying tension evident. Turkey requests convoy intentions. Russia states freedom of navigation. Turkey cites maritime regulations. Russia invokes international law. The legal arguments mask power dynamics. Neither side yields position. Turkish ships match convoy course. They maintain parallel track. The escort continues for hours. Moskva radar systems track Turkish frigates. Fire control directors remain inactive, but capability demonstrated. Russian officers understand message. 2 frigates. One shock moment. How close is too close? Naval frontline analysis indicates deliberate Turkish pressure. Ankara seeks recognition of authority. The Mediterranean represents Turkish strategic space. Russian expansion threatens that position. Turkey pushes back through naval presence, but Israel watches from below. Dolphin submarines maintain sonar contact. Passive sensors record everything. Russian propeller acoustics, Turkish sonar emissions, electronic warfare signatures. The intelligence collection continues. These submarines function as underwater surveillance platforms. At 9:15 local time, the geometry shifts. Russian convoy alters course. New heading takes formation closer to Israeli coast. The distance closes to 45 miles. This enters Israeli comfort zone. Tel Aviv monitors nervously. Military command considers options. Submarines receive new orders. One boat adjusts position. It moves directly into convoy path. The submarine rises to periscope depth. Mast breaks surface briefly. Visual confirmation of Russian ships. Photographs taken through periscope. The submarine descends immediately, but the Moskva detected the signature. Brief radar contact. Periscope mast visible for seconds. Russian officers recognize submarine presence. Alert status elevates aboard convoy. Anti-submarine warfare measures activate. Helicopters launch from frigate decks. Ka-27 helicopters carry dipping sonar. They begin search pattern. Sonobuoys deploy across suspected area. The acoustic net spreads, but Israeli submarine already departed, silent running at maximum speed. The boat clears search zone within minutes. Russian helicopters find nothing, but message received. Israeli submarines operate here. Russian convoy operates under observation. The underwater dimension adds threat layer. Turkish frigates observe helicopter activity. They recognize anti-submarine operations. Their own sonars remain active. Turkish officers understand Israeli presence. The triangle closes. 3 navies in visual range. Russian surface ships, Turkish escorts, Israeli submarines below. Each force tracks the others. Each captain calculates options. The tactical situation becomes unstable. American destroyer maintains distance. USS Arleigh Burke stays 100 miles out, but surveillance continues. The Burke launches SH-60 helicopter. This aircraft carries advanced sensors. It conducts reconnaissance of entire area. Radar imagery updates. Signal intelligence collected. Voice communications intercepted. The Americans build comprehensive picture. Washington receives detailed briefing. National Security Council convenes. The Eastern Mediterranean demands attention. Who holds naval advantage here? A. Russia with cruise missiles. B. Israel with submarines. C. Turkey with position. D. America with information. At 11:30 hours, the Russian convoy reaches closest point to Israeli coast. Distance measures 38 miles. This represents minimum separation. Israeli Air Force maintains combat air patrol. F-15 fighters orbit at altitude. They carry anti-ship missiles. Engagement range exceeds 100 miles. The air component adds another dimension. Russian convoy faces threat from above and below. But what happened during the afternoon watch changed everything. Second Israeli submarine surfaces briefly. Not periscope depth this time. Full surfacing maneuver. Conning tower breaks waves. National flag visible. The submarine remains surfaced for 3 minutes, then dives rapidly. The demonstration calculated precisely. Israel announces presence overtly. No ambiguity remains. Russian convoy operates under submarine surveillance. The surfacing occurs 20 miles from Moskva, well within torpedo range. Russian officers understand immediately. They operate in targeting solution. Israeli submarines could engage. The psychological impact significant. Convoy commanders request air support. Russian aerospace forces in Syria respond. 2 Su-30 fighters launch from Khmeimim Air Base. Flight time 15 minutes to convoy position. The aircraft carry anti-ship missiles. They provide air cover, but Israeli fighters already present. F-15s track Russian aircraft. Lock-on tones transmitted, warning delivered. The air confrontation mirrors naval standoff. Multiple domains, multiple threats. The Eastern Mediterranean becomes multi-layer battlefield. Turkish frigates witness entire sequence. Ankara officials assess implications. Israel demonstrates capability. Russia shows vulnerability. Turkey holds geographic advantage. The naval balance remains unclear. American analysts note patterns. Small submarines threaten large warships. Asymmetric capability proves effective. Israeli doctrine emphasizes quality over quantity. 2 submarines create disproportionate impact. The lesson applies globally. Naval Frontline tracks developments through afternoon. Russian convoy continues northwest. Course brings them toward Turkish territorial waters. Ankara must decide. Allow passage or enforce sovereignty. Turkish frigates close distance. They position directly in convoy path. Bridge communications intensify. Turkey states territorial limits. Russia requests innocent passage. Turkey demands notification. Russia claims emergency circumstances. The legal debate continues. But ships keep moving. Distance closes to 3 miles, then 2 miles, then 1 mile. Collision becomes possible. Bridge officers watch carefully. Helm responses quicken. This is the moment. Turkish frigate crosses bow of Moskva. Distance measures 500 meters. The Russian cruiser maintains course. Speed unchanged. The Turkish ship holds position. Neither yields. Seconds pass. The gap narrows. 400 meters, 300 meters, 200 meters. Bridge officers calculate collision time. Helm stands ready. Then Turkish frigate turns. Course change takes ship clear. The Moskva passes. Confrontation avoided, but Turkish point made. We control these waters. Russia acknowledges reality. Is this a warning or the start of something bigger? Naval Frontline assessment suggests controlled escalation. Each navy demonstrates capability. Each nation signals red lines, but none seek actual engagement. The Mediterranean allows posturing. Geography provides space for maneuvering. Ships can close, then separate. The dance continues without contact, but the risk remains. 4 navies in close proximity. Submarines tracking surface ships. Aircraft overhead. Electronic warfare active. Weapon systems ready. 1 miscommunication means disaster. 1 radar misidentification. 1 aggressive maneuver. 1 nervous weapons officer. The scenarios cascade. At 16 hours, Russian convoy enters Turkish territorial waters. Ankara grants passage, but Turkish escorts remain. They shadow convoy through entire transit. The surveillance continues. Russian ships accept Turkish presence. No options exist. Geography favors Turkey. Bosphorus Strait represents only exit. Russia requires Turkish cooperation. The strategic reality shapes tactical behavior. Israeli submarines withdraw. Mission accomplished. Intelligence collected. Presence demonstrated. The boats return to Haifa. Crews debrief. Acoustic data analyzed. Electronic signatures processed. The intelligence value significant. American destroyer departs patrol area. USS Arleigh Burke received new orders. Different crisis demands attention. Sixth Fleet stretches thin, but Mediterranean surveillance continues. Satellites monitor constantly. Signal intelligence stations record everything. The Americans maintain awareness. Naval frontline analysis indicates new normal. Eastern Mediterranean hosts permanent competition. Russian presence from Syria. Turkish control of geography. Israeli underwater capability. American long-range observation. Four powers. Overlapping interests. Minimal coordination. The ingredients for crisis exist. What does the next move look like at sea? Future scenarios multiply. Russia could increase convoy frequency. Israeli submarines would respond proportionally. Turkey might restrict passage. American involvement could deepen. Each action triggers reaction. The escalation ladder extends upward. Regional stability depends on restraint, but national interests drive behavior. Russia needs Mediterranean access. Israel defends security perimeter. Turkey asserts regional power. America maintains balance. These objectives sometimes conflict. Naval confrontations become routine. Every convoy creates tension. Every submarine deployment raises stakes. The Eastern Mediterranean operates at elevated alert. One incident could cascade. Political miscalculation, military accident, technical failure. The triggers exist. Prevention requires communication, but trust remains minimal. Hotlines exist, but usage limited. Each Navy maintains operational security. Information sharing minimal. The tactical picture stays incomplete. Ships maneuver without full awareness. Submarines operate in silence. The risk of collision increases. Who controls these waters? No single answer exists. Russia projects power but operates vulnerably. Israel strikes from below but lacks surface presence. Turkey holds geography but faces capable adversaries. America observes but remains distant. The balance stays fluid. Control remains contested. Dominance proves impossible. The Mediterranean becomes shared space. Whether cooperation or confrontation determines outcomes. Does this escalate next? The probability remains significant. 4 navies in confined space. National interests conflicting. Military capabilities overlapping. Communication insufficient. History shows escalation paths. Incidents occur. Responses follow. Proportionality fails. Crisis emerges. The Eastern Mediterranean contains all elements. Only discipline prevents disaster. Only professionalism maintains peace. But margins narrow. Pressure increases. The front line holds for now. Subscribe to Naval Frontline, where fleets meet first. The Eastern Mediterranean demonstrates modern naval complexity. 4 nations, multiple domains, constant tension. This is the front line of sea power. Naval Frontline delivers analysis from contested waters, where submarines shadow surface ships, where frigates challenge cruisers, where national power meets geographic reality. Follow for breaking coverage. The Mediterranean Triangle remains active. The naval standoff continues, where fleets meet first. This is Naval Frontline.